Okay, I got up this morning and there was a new video on the group, and I was so excited to see someone actually got it. Well, there's more than one. I'm going to show you a couple different people from the group on Facebook, but I have been beating this video I made here, which was loading into the rear side, swinging into the tuck and falling to the front, and then unloading the rear side. So this is the video loading the rear hip, skipping past the X step, which is, I've seemed to have focused on that on the last 4 or 5 videos. It's the same thing. Everybody's skipping past the wind up period and just jumping to the front foot and throwing in more of a pull motion. So this is just me in slow motion. It's not perfect or anything, but it's showing that I'm on this foot. This foot's up in the air. It's hard to do going slow, but we're swinging the right side around this left hip. See now I'm on one leg and I'm swinging. My hip joint's completely free. And at the same time, my arm is going back and this knee's starting toward the target. So that's the point, is it's like a whip snap of the upper body against the lower body. So that's, and again, this is in slow motion, so take what you can out of it. But then you end up in the hit motion, everything's facing the disc and the knee is kicked. But mostly what we're seeing, I'm trying to show in this video, is the wind up around the trailing side. You cannot drop the knee, spin the rear foot unless you build up some tension in it in the first place. If you're just laterally skipping and jumping to your front foot, you're never going to have any tension. So again, this is in slow motion. It's not perfect or anything. I'm trying to kind of do this and show this without a disc. But the knee and the foot start the motion of the upper body. It's not the upper body starts and then you end up dragging the lower body. Okay, well that's just big fat me. So that's not what I meant to show. So we got this video. This is the video he's saying that really made a huge difference, and I really do wish people would watch this video. It's a multi-part video actually made into one video. And so this is his first attempts. We'll just watch it. It's in slow motion. Okay. Anyway, let it go. Sorry. Go back. We'll watch it one time. I'll leave it alone. So that, I just think that's great. That's a great start. Why is it great? Why is that so good and some of the others not as good? For me, not to say everybody isn't trying, everybody's trying their best, but Frank here actually got it. He actually got what I was trying to teach in that video, which is he sets his back foot, he stands up. This is the part I showed in one of the other videos talking about Paige Pierce. You'll always see there'll be a little bit of a stand up and to create some room for the left side to swing around. So now this front foot is off the ground and he is swinging around. He's not sticking his arm out. He's not reaching back. He's swinging this side of his body around this hip joint. And as he swings back, he'll hit an apex and his right side will start to work toward the target and the left side will start to fire because now he's built up some rotation that he can unrotate. There. That's way better than I can do it. He's younger and more flexible than me. Look at his hips. His hips are pointed over here and his shoulders are still closed. That's what I want to see. That's outstanding. I'm going to go over it again because it's so darn good. Here we go. Now he's back to, he's faced up, and we're going to talk about his release. He's throwing down this line here, which is outstanding as a line. And this is his tee box that he's made, apparently. Okay, that being the case, if this is the throw line, his walk line was like this, and his throw line's like this. Now, why is that going to hurt him? Because you can see how his wrist is curled under and the disc bottom? See the bottom of the back of the disc? He curled under and flipped the nose up. Good players do the opposite of that. They actually flip the back of the disc upward. Let's watch it again. Because he's walking so far across the line, he has to throw it back down the line across his body, and as a result, his wrist has to curl under to get his hand out of the way because he's trapped against himself. And I've beat this to death and saying you guys aren't doing any good to yourselves walking crazy across the line and then trying to get it back online. You actually have to, at that point, you have to curl the disc across your chest. It will get trapped behind your own hand, and as a result, you have to flip, you have to get your hand out of the way one way or the other, and most people flip their wrist under. Let's watch it. Now see how his wrist is all broken down over here? So there it is. There, you can see it. If he was throwing out to the left, parallel, that sucker would have come out dead nose down. Here we go. You ready? Because his throw out is so late. We're good. We're a little hyzer. Oh, there it is. That's the dreaded flip up of the nose. If he would have been throwing out here and threw it straight out, that plate would have come out flat. It was starting to come out flat. See if I can grab that frame. A little tough to do on Facebook videos. Doggone it. Give me a second. See the torque that's on it? He flipped it up, flipped the back of the disc downward, like popping a wheelie. Because he's throwing across himself. Throwing over the top or across the line. You know, there's a frame in there. I just can't hardly grab it. I'm sorry. That was there. There. Okay. Right here, the nose is down. And if he was throwing parallel, if his walk would have been this way and he gave himself some room for his hand to get out of the way, that disc would have come out like this, dead flat. But then we go one frame. Because he's throwing across himself, he's trapped. He has to do this. Let me get it. Let me get it. Come on. There. That's the wrist curling under. He flipped the nose up, the back of the disc down, put a bunch of wobble on it because he's so far across himself. So he's got this excellent wind up, but as you can see, he starts way over here. He's walking this way and throwing this way. He's actually even across the line a little bit. So excellent on the actually getting the wind up and getting stood up on his left side. He's swinging back with his upper body while his lower body's already firing. Those are all really great. That's really good. Now, he was, and this is tough for people to see, but he just lost, I don't know, 25% of his distance because that disc is flying so nose up right out of his hand that it has to correct itself. The disc will fly more overstable. It will fly slower. So that is flipping the disc nose under. But let's watch how good he does the windup. He's on his way to looking like Paige Pierce. Bam! And that's good. getting that back knee to fire, but it doesn't just fire all by itself. You have to have this wind up and the rock forward and the stride forward as the upper body is still trying to complete. He swung around. He swung his shoulder around. There you go. See it swinging around, swinging around. There you go. That's a swing of the upper body. That is not, I take the disc and stick it out. It's swinging around. Everything's nice and loose. He's building up. He's already started his stride and he's still extending. This is what the professionals do. He's striding forward, getting ready to fire this hip. This knee's about ready to drop. And he's still extending backwards. Still extending backwards. There it went. There it went. The knee is firing. You can see he's already squatting and it's moving this way. That is the magic move that everybody's looking for. Now the disc is starting forward. This knee is well on its way to firing. And he's just starting to learn how to do this. That's so, look at that. Look at that separation. His shoulders, he's still facing, his chest is back here. He's almost back to square with his hips. Just really, really good. If we get rid of the walking crooked and the flip under of the wrist, man, and get that actually going the other way, which is the getting the back of the disc to flip up, and you cannot start doing that until you get out of your own way. And I wanted to show one other student who just started, and he also, Jared, also got the, that may not seem all that great. I don't know to everyone else. I think it's amazing. This is actually what I teach. I start my students, when they start lessons, I make them do exactly what he's doing. The only thing I'd like to see him here is not to get his arm pointed at the target and his chest is over here. I'd like to see him try to keep that disc more in pace with his chest, but he's using the counter swing, so I understand he's trying to get some momentum. But let's watch that again. That's actually what I teach. If I had you doing a lesson, my number one student is Evan, and he actually throws very similar to this now, and he can just dissect a disc golf course because it only takes a few steps, and he can throw 500, not a problem. But he's got a big swing. It's a swing. He's swinging into the tuck, which I can't hardly get anyone to do. They just don't want to do it. They want to reach back and all the stuff. Look at that. See that? That's getting ready to wind up. He's on 1 foot. 1 foot. Now he's winding back and he's striding forward at the same time. You see how that's a counter spin? The upper body's going this way and the lower body's going this way. That's torque. There we go. Man, that's good. And we all have limits of our flexibility and the ability to, have monster amounts of hip rotation. I don't have that anymore. And you can see at this point, he's already trying to get this side to fire. It's still a little late, but I don't care. He did get it wound up. And everything is getting nice and caught up. And his chest is facing the disc. His hips are facing the disc. He's in a nice supported position, centered. If you were to take a top baseball hitter and show him how to impact a lefty, would look just like that. Or a golfer to a certain extent. It's the same position. He's not way over here. He's not trying to get over on top of this leg. He's actually dropping in behind this hip joint. It's outstanding. This is basically how I start students. That little mini X step like that, and I make them really swing it. Swing the disc. Get rid of the stick the disc behind me and throw thing. So anyway, I'm going to end it there. The video I want everyone to see is this one, loading the rear hip, skipping past the X step. That has led to these students sending me these videos. I'm super stoked about that. And I'm going to end it there. Join my Patreon for lessons. I really think the instructional videos like this will really help. And we're getting ready to head into the season, so now's the time to do it. Thanks a lot. Catch you later.